the SSA on National Assembly matters for necessary documentation ahead of screening, which is expected to commence next Monday. He also noted that the office will be open on weekends to allow all nominees complete the process before the screening. A list of 28 nominees was read on the floor of the Senate on Thursday, and more names are expected to be sent in the coming days. Agents of the People's Redemption Party, PRP, and Action Alliance have raised allegations of votes manipulation against Governor Abdullahi Sule at the Nasarawa State Governorship Election Petitions Tribunal. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, continued their presentation of evidence. The PRP agents presented results from 58 polling units showing that the summary sheets did not accurately reflect the actual computation of votes obtained from the polling units. The PRP agent who stood as a witness stated that he had signed the ward collation summary for the House of Assembly elections, but refused to sign the one for governorship due to the disparities noticed. The Action Alliance agents also testified before the tribunal. The petitioners claimed that the final summary of results did not accurately represent the votes computed from the polling units in Chiroma ward. Let's take a short break, and when we return, it will be time to speak with our guest of the day, who is a member of the House of Representatives for Koshofé constituency of Lagos State, Kafilat Ogbara, for discussion on ministers designate and the task of fixing Nigeria. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. You're still watching Politics Tonight, digging beyond the headlines. And now to our interview with the guest of the day. I am joined by a member of House of Representatives for Koshofé constituency, Honorable Kafilat Ogbara, for discussion on ministers designate and the task of fixing Nigeria. Thank you very much for joining us, Honorable.
Thank you for having me.
All right. So the last time you were on the program was exactly a week before the presidential and National Assembly elections. So congratulations on your inauguration as a member of the National Assembly. So how would you describe the experience so far?
Well, my experience in the House of Representatives, the 10th Assembly, has been that of a new legislator trying to learn fast. Maybe because some of us had been informed before we got here that most new legislators take a while to learn legislative proceedings, and how the House works. So for me, I saw that as a challenge. And I don't normally entertain challenges. I convert challenges to driving force. So I think that had been the spirit that has been driving me. I'm still learning. We have a lot to learn. And one has to be open, to learning. You don't get here and do as if you know it all or you know anything. Even your lowest level of staff can teach you a lot if you are open to learning. I think that is one of the things we even took away from our courtesy visits to the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, who advised us that we must be open to learning. So in the last 1 month, I think I've been able to learn a bit. And from that, I've been able to move some motions to my name as well. And so far, so good. It has been quite educative, informative, interactive, because in this 10th Assembly, we have a lot of different political parties. And you have people from all walks of life, professionals, you have people from, different ethnic diversity, different ideology with different knowledge and ideas. So you have to have a very good interpersonal relationship with people for you to survive here. You must have the power to, lobby, to interact properly, relate to people with respect, with regard, mutual respect, of course, and of course ensure that you're always, having a good relationship at every point in time with people and ensure that you have no reason to have any, clashes or whatever arguments with people in any way. So, well, so far so good. It has been an interesting one for me. I'm trying to learn, but most importantly, being focused on the reason why I'm here, to legislate in the interest of Nigerians, and particularly my constituents, because I have a workload of campaign promises that I made to them, and of course, the problems that concerns my people directly. So I've, tried to remain focused on this, and that has been part of the motions that I moved as well. I moved a motion for, people living with disabilities, that government should ensure that they implement and enforce the act, that is guiding the rights of people with disabilities. During my electioneering campaign, I had interaction with them, a lot of them, and I had a bond with them as well. And it's very emotional for me because I know a lot of the challenges that they face. So, and I promised them that I was going to ensure that I look into their rights and see how I can use my good office in my own little way to influence and ensure that their rights are upheld. And that has been passed. And of course, I'm on top of it. We are on recess since yesterday, and I'm going to ensure that I'm not having any holiday. I'm still going to ensure that I pursue what I need to pursue so that I get the result to my constituents. The second one has to do with the flooding situation in my constituency as well. So, and I tried to do what I needed to do. So I'm still on top of all of them. So there's still a lot to do, but it's still a work in progress.
All right. So it's about 2 months of a new administration in the country. How will you describe President Tinubu's stewardship so far?
Well, President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu has achieved a lot, if you ask me, in the last 2 months compared to other administrations. And you will agree with me that immediately he got to office, he swung into action. And we have seen in all his activities, and it's not stopping, he's on the move, he's on his toes. You can see that from all the appointments he has done, from the interactions, meeting with all stakeholders. Because in this game of government, especially the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, you have to ensure that when you get in, you get the right information. You settle down, you try to investigate, you try to interact, you try to make inquiries, you try to find out what the situation you have met is in the true picture. Because sometimes the picture you get may not be what it really is. So for someone who wants to succeed in his administration, I think this is the foundation he's doing now. So I want to leave Nigerians with 4 P's: that they should remain prayerful, they should remain positive, they should ensure that they support this government by also being, perseverance. They should persevere. Like the speech he said now. And of course, they have to be, positive in every way so that we can be patient to ensure that we get the desired results. Yes, patient is the 4th one. Prayerful, patient, persevere, and also remain positive. And I'm very sure we'll get there, because for some of us who campaigned for this great man to be there, campaigns are over. We know what we saw, and we know how much we believe in his ability and his capability. And he has been able to exhibit that. Even most Nigerians, we hear what some of our members speak to that effect, that they didn't know he's made of such, quality stuff, because they don't have the right information during the electioneering campaign. For some of us that stuck out our neck to campaign for him, to lobby Nigerians, campaign to Nigerians that they should vote for him. We know what we have seen, and we believe so much in this man to get us to the promised land. So I need Nigerians, I pray that all Nigerians will be more patient for this government to get its acts together, stand on its feet, lay the desired foundation so that we can have a smooth ride. Once the foundation is poor, you cannot have anywhere to stand. So I want to urge Nigerians to remain patient for this administration so that we can get to the promised land.
All right. Now, the Speaker of the House of Representatives has constituted standing committees, and you emerged as the chairman of the Committee on Women Affairs. What does this mean for your political career?
Well, I must first of all say that this position was not even in my picture at all. It just came as a surprise to me. I didn't know the committee I was in until it was announced. So for me, I want to thank God, and I want to thank the leadership of the House for deeming it fit to give me this position as the chairman of the House Committee on Women Affairs and Social Development. Women affairs has always been my area of passion. And of course, social development is one area that is key for me, because I know that the social development of Nigerians must be totally revamped. And I am glad I am here so that I will be able to contribute my quota and use my own personality as an individual to influence a lot of other things that I feel should have been done that have not been done. We will also ensure that we look into all our agenda bills that has to do with citizenship, that has to do with affirmative action, and every other bill that was rejected, and the new ideas that I have as well, because I am coming in to ensure that we achieve our aim in a subtle manner, lobby our men, make them understand. And of course, I am very positive. By the time I leave the 10th Assembly, we would have had a very good result. We are going to ensure that we amend, repeal existing laws to promote gender inclusion and female participation in politics. We will also ensure that we promote issues of women and vulnerables in the society. We have a lot of agenda for the 10th Assembly already. As you can see, I'm still in the office, it's 8 p.m., and I'm still working because I know I have a lot to do. The time as a politician, once you are elected into any political office, you have a very short time. For me, I believe that immediately it starts, it has ended. That's the way I look at things. So while I'm in there for that short period, I want to ensure that I contribute my quota. I have started political participation since I was in the University of Lagos. I was a student union leader, and I've always been very passionate about the welfare of people, ensuring that people in leadership, they do what they need to do in the interest of the people. I'm a person of the people, and I am going to ensure that the little time I have here is worth the while.
All right, so you talked about having some ideas that will help you effectively carry out your duties. Would you like to share some of these ideas with us?
Well, maybe I'll just tip some, because sometimes when you want to do things, you don't need to expose it until you get the results. That's how I play my politics, and it has always worked for me. But for me, I believe that no matter what, every political party must not present any list to the electoral body without a woman in any state, in any political party. We are going to move that, and we will ensure that it comes to life. The electoral body must not accept any list from any political party for legislative houses, whether House of Assembly, Federal House of Assembly, whichever one, without a woman. Most houses of assembly and the House of Representatives in most states are usually, some have 20. For instance, in Lagos, we have 24, and I'm the only woman there. So it has to be a minimum of a woman. But there's a way we are going to, address this, that it will get through by the grace of God. So this is just one of them.
All right, then. Thank you. Now, the Speaker allocated 80 committee chairmen to APC lawmakers and 54 to opposition parties. I mean, some people say it looks like a winner takes all, especially when APC does not have overwhelming majority in the House. How will you react to this accusation?
Well, the leadership of the House, in their wisdom, have done what they think is best. And I remember during the campaign for the leadership of the House, we had different political parties supporting the interests of the leadership that we have today, of Right Honorable Tajuddin Abbas and Honorable Benjamin Kalu as our Speaker and Deputy Speaker, respectively. And I believe that a lot of interest must have been looked, and a lot of procedure and, action must have gone through the procedure for them to elect people to be chairman and deputy chairman. Don't forget also that we have all submitted our CVs. They have to look at your expertise, your past experience as a legislator, not just because you are a legislator. It has to be a round peg in a round hole. So I think they must have considered a lot of considerations. Like I said, I was not part of anything. I'm not a leader of the house. I'm just an ordinary member. And I didn't know, I'm a Muslim, I cannot lie. I didn't know where I was until it was announced. So many people didn't know. So it was just announced. Whatever it is they looked at, whatever they checked, I wouldn't know for them to have given me this position. Likewise, all other positions. But the truth and the reality is that we all know that everybody cannot be chairman of a committee and everybody cannot be deputy chairman of the committee, because we know that we have limited number of all these committees. But there are some committees that even where you are just a member, it will go a long way in you, putting in your experience and also contributing, your quota in your own little way to ensure that the desired result is gotten. And for me, anywhere I find myself is service to humanity. So I will only appeal to all our members that we should see wherever we find ourselves as service to Nigerians, service to humanity, and that is exactly why we are here. But I'm sure that the leadership knows best. I'm not in the best position to speak about that question, but I know that they did their best.
All right, so as the House Committee Chairman on Women Affairs, how will you describe the role of women in party politics and national development?
Well, the role of women in politics and national development cannot be overemphasized, because the truth is that women play a prominent role in everything we do politically. Without women, you cannot have the number of votes you have as a politician, irrespective of the position you are contesting for. And if you look at even the number of ministers that our president has given us in the list submitted so far, I think we have about 25% already, which is highly commendable. We appreciate our president, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for listening, to the voice of the women, for listening to the yearnings of the women, because even the list is not complete yet, and already we have 25%, setting. So we have about 7 women on that list, and if you look at them, you know that these are women that have been able to prove their worth, some politically, professionally, and otherwise. Some people will tell you that they are politicians. We have technocrats that are politically active, and this are the array of some of the women you see on that list. You see Dr. Betta Edu, who is presently our national woman leader. Dr. Betta Edu is not just from my constituency as a woman, she also represents the constituency of youth, because Dr. Betta Edu is just 36 years old. She will be the youngest minister that we're going to have, by the grace of God. And you can also see, what's her name, Stella Okotete. She was also a former woman leader, a brilliant young woman as well. I think she's in her early 40s, I think 40 or 40, 41, between 41 and 42, I guess. You also see a lot of other women there that have proved their worth. We see ranking lawmaker there, Nkiru Onyejocha, who has been in the legislative house with a lot of legislative experience. She has been a former local government chairman. And these are brilliant women that have been able, to prove their worth over time in terms of experience, expertise in their various fields. Most of them are master's degree holders. Most of them, on that list, you find lawyers, you find economists, you find accountants, chartered accountants. You find a lot of people that have the experience, unique Nigerians. I saw the name of former Governor Nyesom Wike. This goes to show what we are saying about our president, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. that he looks for the best of best hands. Who in Nigeria will say that Governor Nyesom Wike, former Governor Nyesom Wike of Rivers State, is not one of the best governors we have in Nigeria? This is a man that did so much for his people, that was so compassionate, so caring, so particular about the interest of his people. He did so much, and you're like, what were the other governors before him? What were they doing? If this man could do so much, he has left a mark. And we expect that people like this, not because they have been former governors, people criticize that they are former governors, what are they looking for? No, when you have people that have something to offer, we must maximally utilize their potential in the interest of our country. And this is what we expect from this government. By the time the cabinet is constituted, I'm very sure that all these brains coming together in the interest of Nigeria, to reinvent Nigeria, to rebuild, to replan, and to fix Nigeria, like your title has said, we are going to see a lot of difference in the very near future. Because I know that Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu himself knows that he has limited time. Just the way I think, we have very limited time, and we have a lot to do in the interest of our people. And I know that he is very, very passionate about touching the lives of people positively. And so with this, I'm very positive that very, very soon, Nigerians will smile. And like we have said, we just need to be a little bit patient. They are looking for immediate, alternative, immediate palliative to redeem the situation that we have on hand. And like he also said, that to give birth to a thing of joy, it comes with pain if we want to have a child. But once the child comes out, there is joy in the air. So let us just be endurant. Let us endure just for a little while. By the grace of God, all will be well. We mean well for Nigerians. We share your pain. We are with you in every way. And that is why we are here. We are not here for any other reason. We are here to serve you. We are here to do your bidding. We are here to listen to you, to do exactly what we need to do to ensure that we have a better Nigeria. Please be rest assured, Nigerians, that we are here for you.
All right. So, Honorable, I would like you to tell us about the relationship between you female members of the House of Representatives. How cordial is it?
Very cordial. Very cordial. If you saw our visit to the First Lady, you find out that everybody was there. The senators and every member of the House of Representatives. The only member that was absent is out of the country. That's the leader that we have, the only female leader in the leadership, the deputy whip that we have in the House, Honorable Nonuga. So because she was out of the country, she couldn't make it. So we are very together, and it's going to make the job very easier for us to work as women, to impact, to ensure that what we need to do is done. You know that the lens with which women see things is different from the way men see things. And this is why we have been clamoring that a nation that underutilizes over 50% of our population is not helping herself. And this is why I know that Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu himself knows that he has to ensure that more women come up in his appointed positions. Even beyond the ministerial appointments, there are other positions to the boards of parastatals, agencies, and all that. So even some special duties, there are things that will be done that don't even need to do with elected officers, that you may need to employ, specialists, that you may need to employ, consultants. Women do a lot in this regard, and we have a lot to offer. We are more compassionate, we are more passionate about issues that concerns the vulnerables, that concerns the Nigerians generally. And when we are given assignments to do, we want to prove a point that we are better than anybody. So we need our men to see reason in this regard, to appreciate that fact that we are always ready to serve. We are always ready to prove our worth, even beyond your expectation. So Asiwaju has seen this, and this is why I'm sure he has elected those women that have seen them. Immediately I saw that list, I was glad that he's making use of one of the best of women that we have in Nigeria.
All right. So I've been speaking with a member of House of Representatives for Kushofe constituency, Honorable Kafilat Ogbara, tonight to discussing ministers designate and the task of fixing Nigeria. We'll take a break now and I will be right back. Please stay with us. Thank you very much for staying with us. This is Politics Tonight, where we dig beyond the headlines. And tonight I'm being joined by a member of House of Representatives for Kushofe constituency, Honorable Kafilat Ogbara. Tonight we're discussing ministers designate and the task of fixing Nigeria. All right, Honorable, I know we've talked about this before now, but with your new role, it became very important for us to go over this again. And this is about women representation in politics and governance in Nigeria, which is still a far cry from the 35% affirmative action agreed upon in Beijing in 1995. Will you say we are making gradual progress? Honorable, did you get my question? All right, so I've been speaking with a member of House of Reps for Kushofe constituency, Honorable Kafilat Ogbara, for discussion on ministers designate and the task of fixing Nigeria. Honorable, if you can hear me, I said we're about to talk about women representation in politics and governance in Nigeria, which is still a far cry from the 35% affirmative action agreed upon in Beijing in 1995. So, will you say we're making gradual progress? All right, let's take a break and I will be right back. Please stay with us.
Sometimes it's the story that calls. At other times, the people just want to be heard.
School, I need students, but I need teachers.
Can't continue like this.
Their voices re-echoing through time itself.
We haven't done anything. If the tide is high, everybody run for safety.
Their tears leave a sweet sour taste for all their demands. A familiar call beckoning for change. In our world, no one expects a disaster to happen. But when it does, we'll be there to x-ray all sides, from the east to the west, north and south. Community Forum will examine the oddities and challenges to economic development, as well as issues yearning for government intervention. Watch fresh episodes of Community Forum on Sundays by 9:30 p.m. only on TVC News.
Welcome back and thank you so much for staying with us. If you're just joining us, I've been speaking with a member of House of Representatives for Kushofe constituency, Honorable Kafilat Ogbara, for discussion on ministers designate and the task of fixing Nigeria. So, Honorable, like I said earlier, I know we've talked about this before, but with your new role, it became very important for us to go over this again. And that's about women representation in politics and governance in Nigeria, which is still a far cry from the 35% affirmative action agreed upon in Beijing in 1995. So, will you say we are making gradual progress?
We are not making any progress at all. We are not making any progress. Even though in the Senate, in the last Senate, the 9th Senate Assembly, we had 7 women, but now we have just 3 women out of 7. And even the 3 women are new. All the 7 senators did not return. You don't call that progress at all. And of course, in the House of Representatives, we have about 17 of us now, even though in the last House we had 11, I think. So that is a bit of progress in the House of Representatives. But generally, I don't call that progress. If you have 17 members out of 360, it's not anything to be happy about. So we will continue to appeal to our men. We'll continue to plead with them. We'll continue to make them understand that their daughters, their mothers, their sisters, that's what we are. And they should ensure that they encourage more women to participate in politics. And like I always say that many women participate in politics, but when it comes to the dividends of, being a politician, to get to elected positions, to get appointed positions, to get appointments and all that, that is when the men make it look as if, the women are nowhere to be found. So we'll continue to try our best, and we'll continue to encourage our women. As the Chairman House Committee on Women Affairs, we are going to be putting a lot of sensitization in place, a lot of workshops. We are going to be using, ensuring that we pass motions and, ensure that bills and laws that will encourage more women participation go through in this 10th Assembly. And of course, we will also ensure that in effective representation and oversight functions, ensure that women gain a lot more in this dispensation. And I know that because we have a government that is gender sensitive, our First Lady is also from this constituency. She's a former legislator, a former senator. The President is a former senator. Our Vice President is also a former senator. So they are going to have that political will that we have always talked about. We are going to penetrate everywhere we need to penetrate to ensure that we get the desired results. Nigeria cannot be behind. We have a long way to go. It is only when we maximize the use of the potentials of the intellectuals that we have in women that Nigeria can get to where it's going to. And because of where Nigeria is today, it's just simple mathematics and simple common sense that we cannot continue to do the same thing in the same way to get a different result, except, of course, we start to think differently, as all other world leaders have started to think, even in the achievement of global goals, where women, gender equity is the 5th global goal. Once we're able to achieve this, zero hunger, poverty, and every other thing that we are talking about will be easy to achieve. And of course, the issues that women face start from our girl children. We have a lot of our girl children that are out of school. And, we had an interactive session, a lunch, let me put it, with the Australian embassy, the family of the Australians recently, the High Commissioner, the Deputy High Commissioner, and some of their staff. They invited some of the female legislators, just about 3 or 4 of us were there. And these are some of the things that we discussed. And of course, we are going to ensure that we collaborate with international organizations, international bodies, where they can support some of all these our ideas so that we can have the desired result that we want. A lot of our girl children are out of school. We have the Almajiris. We are going to look out to see how we can support and ensure that we better the lives of a lot of our people. We are legislators, we are lawmakers, but we have a responsibility to oversee that most of all these, parastatals, agencies, and ministries live up to expectation. Whatever is allocated to them in terms of funding, the House of Representatives has a role to play. And I can tell you for free that the quality of members in the House of Representatives goes a long way to determine the quality of the country you will have for that session. Because once the House of Representatives stand on their feet, do the bidding that they need to do to ensure that the right result is gotten, let's stand for Nigerians and in the interest of Nigerians. Once we are able to do that and ensure that all the ministries and parastatals go in line with what is allocated to them in terms of appropriation, whatever is appropriated to them to spend for the year, we have a right, we have a duty to ensure that this.
Honorable, can you hear me? Are you there? All right, I've been speaking with a member of House of Representatives for Koshofe constituency, Honorable Kafilat Ogwara, tonight we're discussing Minister's Designate and the task of fixing Nigeria. Honorable, if you can hear me, please go on with your submission. Honorable Kafilat, are you
used in the interest of Nigerians?
all right, so how confident are you that women stand to gain a lot from the Tinubu presidency?
I'm very confident.
Honorable Kafilat, are you there? Okay.
I am here.
All right.
We have a president that is gender friendly. If you remember our president, when he was a governor, he had a female deputy governor. And in Lagos State, most times, not until recently, we always have female deputy governors. So this is a man that has understood the importance of women, that knows the capability of women, that knows that women have a way of bringing things to life, that knows that women have a fundamental role to play in national development. And this is a man that has a woman who is also a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. For a man to allow his wife to be a senator, you know that this is a man that encourages women's progress, that encourages a woman to prosper, that encourages a woman to reach the peak of her career. So this gives us so much rest of mind. We are so positive. We are not in doubt. And for me, as the chairman for Women Affairs and Social Development, I know that we are going to, collaborate to get the desired results. I am just too positive about this. And Nigerian women, they are going to see a lot of difference in this administration because I know that they have the women at heart.
All right, so with Nigeria battling economic hardship over fuel subsidy removal, do you think the president has what it takes to transform Nigeria?
With the what?
With economic hardship battling Nigeria at the moment, do you think the president has what it takes to transform Nigeria?
I'm 100% sure about that. And like I said earlier, we just need to be patient. We need to persevere. And we need to remain positive. It's just 60 days old. This government needs to build the right foundation. They need to get their foot. They need to understand what they met on ground. You don't just come into a place and then you just keep moving. You have to understand the terrain. You have to understand how things work. You have to understand where the previous government left what they have done. And you have to understand the true picture of what exactly you have met on ground. And I think this is exactly what President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is doing presently. So Nigerians should remain patient. For me as an individual, I share the pain. I understand what Nigerians are going through. We have families, we have friends, we have relatives also that are going through all this. And we as individuals as well, even as legislators, we feel that pain. We share the pain. It's not as if we are having anything different from what Nigerians are having. We are just collecting our salaries. And this goes to, the fuel that we all buy is the same thing that we are all buying. So we all have to be patient. This is something that is going around and we all, feel that pain. So I'm just appealing to Nigerians that we should continue to please bear with this government, support this government, and try to understand that it's really, really very early in the day for us to judge the government that they cannot do anything. President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu can transform Nigeria. He is going to transform Nigeria. Play this tape in the next 3 years, and you will get to know that I know what I'm saying, and you will see the results that we would have achieved in the next 3 years by the grace of God, God willing.
All right. Because women are among the segments of the society worst hit, what do you think the government should do at this stage to assist them?
Yes, I understand that the governors have met with the vice president who chaired the meeting, and there were palliative measures that they were able to reach. So we are waiting for them to come up with the implementation of the palliative measure. I know that they are trying to do some immediate palliative measures and, of course, long-term palliative measures, because if we are going to have the right palliative measures, it's going to take time. And, of course, the immediate palliative measures, they have talked about, disbursements to the vulnerables. If indeed these, disbursements will go to the vulnerables really appreciate anything that gets to them, as little as even 8,000. And for some of us that think that 8,000 is little, it's not little for some people. It's a lot of money. It will go a long way to solve the problem of some people. And of course, we know that, the value of our money, the way it is today, we all understand what it is. This is what the government has met, and we have to take it up from there. Government is continuum. It's not as if what is happening now is an and continue to be Father Christmas, and continue to be Father Christmas for neighboring countries. This is a reality that Nigerians must get to understand. And if we are going to do that, this pain will definitely, come the way it is today. And by the time they are able to reach, the right way in which they want to disburse, or they want to ensure that the palliatives go round, Nigerians will see the difference. And I hope that, of course, the long-term palliative is already something that the president has on ground. If you look at his manifesto, they have a lot of programs to ensure that Nigeria becomes what it really is in terms of our transport system. If we have a good transport system that ensures that citizens pay, a subsidized rate in terms of moving here and there, it will go a long way. Even most people will not want to go out with their cars, just the way we do when we go to some other countries. Most of the time, most of us, we don't have cars there, and we move around in all of those buses. So once we are able to have a palliative like that, it will go a long way to help. And for women particularly, I expect that
Honorable Kafilat, are you there? All right, so that's a member. Right.
This government of the cabinet in tandem with, can you still hear me?
Yes, I can. Please go ahead.
We will ensure that we work with the ministries and parastatals to ensure that whatever is itemized to be done, we are legislators, we are lawmakers. I don't really have the capacity to implement much, but I'm going to use my good office to influence what we need to do to empower a lot of our women. We have a lot of women that have, trades, businesses. They cannot even access, loans and funds for their businesses. We are going to look into this area. And some of the achievements of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is that he has been able to pass different laws. Immediately, he has been able to assent to some of the laws, like the student loan. A lot of our students will start to access their loans by September. If you're a student and you have gotten an admission into the university, you'll be able to access student loan to further your education if your parents cannot afford your education. Of course, there are criteria to ensure that you fall into that category. So this is another way of, a palliative to ensure that students are not out of school because of fuel subsidy. And we are going to also ensure that all our women, particularly women from the rural areas, because I know that most of these women are market women who trade in little things. We are going to ensure that our ministries, particularly the ministries that have to do with humanitarian affairs, that have to do with women affairs, that has to do with all this disaster management and all that, because there are a lot of areas that we have flooding now as we speak, and most of our women, their businesses are being affected. So there are a lot of motions that have been moved in the last few weeks, and we are going to sit down to ensure that all those motions that have been passed, the implementations, there are compliances to ensure that we get the desired results. Women are most vulnerable because we are the ones with the children. We are the ones that cater for the homes. We are the ones that have, we are the ones, we call ourselves the nation builders. We are the real nation builders because it is what we inculcate in our children that makes the society. It is what we have in the homes that goes out there, that becomes the men, that becomes whatever category of men, whether the successful ones, the ones that are not successful, the ones that are doing the vices, and the ones that are doing the good, they are all from our homes. So as mothers, and as a mother myself, I am very passionate about this. This is one of the social developmental programs that we are going to ensure that we look into and make sure that the 10th Assembly deliver on its legislative agenda to get these things to fruition.
All right, so quickly before we go, I know you did this before election, but now that you have the mandate, can you share with us your mission as the member representing Koshofe constituency of Lagos State in the House of Representatives?
Well, my mission as a member representing the House of Representatives is to ensure that I use my legislative power here to move motions, initiate bills that will affect Nigerians generally, and particularly my constituents, which I have started to do already. I am going to ensure that all the rejected bills, most of the rejected bills that has to do with gender issues are brought back to light. We are going to be more strategic. We are going to plan better because sometimes most things depends on your approach. So we are going to re-examine all those bills and we are going to ensure that we succeed on them. And for my constituents, like I always say, when I was doing my electioneering campaign, I moved around. There was no place I needed to get to that I did not go to. So I am fully empowered with the problems of my constituents, with the issues concerning my constituents directly. And as a legislator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, I'm not here for just my constituents. I'm here for Nigerians generally. But I'm only here as a voice to amplify issues that affect my constituents directly. So I have all the details, the data, everything that I need to work with. I'm well equipped and I'm prepared. So be rest assured that my constituents are in for a good time on issues that affect them directly. And it's a continuous process. Even those things that I think I collected as at the time of the electioneering campaign, there will be new events, there will be new issues, there will be new activities. So as time goes on, I make sure I go home, like almost every weekend, to relate with them, to interact with them. My constituency office is almost ready. I'm working on that. By this time next month, by the grace of God, I'll be opening my constituency office where I will ensure that I have an open door policy where I will be open to a lot of issues that concerns people individually, collectively, as a group.
All right, thank you very much, Honorable. Thank you so much. I've been speaking with Honorable Kafilat Ogbara, member of House of Representatives for Koshofe constituency of Lagos State, tonight to discuss ministers designate and the tax affix in Nigeria. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, madam, and we wish you the very best. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me. Have a good night's rest.
And you too. And thank you very much for watching. That marks the end of today's episode of Politics Tonight. I am Olajumoke Olatunji. Good night.
If you want to become something, become a child again. Why be a patient? If you must worry, then worry about winning. Why worry about germs? When you come home, bring tales and stories. Why bring in germs?
Shield your families from germs. When Dettol is a part of every household bucket, then you and your family can stay protected from up to 100 illness-causing germs.
Everyday use of Dettol keeps my loved ones protected.
The following is a paid presentation by ShopX TV.
Do you spend the night trying to get comfortable? Your knees rub bone on bone. Your back and hips ache. You wake up in pain? Not anymore. ShopX TV is proud to introduce the Contour Legacy Pillow, the patented, ergonomically designed tapered leg pillow that naturally fits the contours of your legs, knees and thighs to help align your spine and alleviate pain. Watch, when you sleep on your side, your leg falls forward, twisting your pelvis and lower back, putting pressure on your spine, hip and sciatic. But the Contour Legacy Pillow cushions your knees and cradles your legs, relieving stress on joints while restoring your lower back alignment. Sleeping on your side, your leg comes over and puts you out of alignment, causing lower back pain, hip pain, even knee pain. By using the Contour Legacy Pillow, it restores the natural alignment of the spine, helping to alleviate pain and pressure, leading to much more restful sleep. Old-fashioned leg pillows are bulky, but the anatomical design of the Legacy Pillow fits perfectly the shape of your body the way nature intended. You can even use two together for full leg alignment. Legacy Pillow is exclusively ventilated, so it always stays cool and dry. With top crescent design, it cuddles up to you perfectly and easily moves with you. Ordinary pillows go flat, but the Legacy Pillow is made up of soft memory foam, so it never loses its shape and the cover is machine washable. The Contour Legacy Pillow is now available in Nigeria, exclusively from ShopX TV. You could be paying up to 500,000 naira for an orthopedic bed that doesn't properly support your spine. But call the number on your screen now and get 2 Legacy leg pillows for just 69,900 naira. And get relief from back and hip issues. But wait! If you call now, we'll upgrade you to the Contour Better Sleep Collection. The collection comes with 2 Contour Legacy leg pillows and 2 Contour Cool Gel head pillows at no extra charge. The Contour Cool Gel head pillows' soothing orthopedic support will cradle your head and neck for full alignment, while keeping you cool all through the night for the best sleep of your life. Incredible! That's 2 Contour Legacy pillows and 2 Cool Gel head pillows for just 69,900 naira. And that's not all. Place your order now and we'll also deliver your Contour Better Sleep collection with no shipping charge. But hurry! This is an exclusive ShopX TV offer and only available for a limited period. So, call now while stock lasts. Your rest is your wealth.
The proceeding was a paid presentation brought to you by ShopX TV.
It's the Premier League all on DSTV. All the goals, all the clashes, all the moments. All of Rashford, Salah, and Saka. All in the language of your choice. All in HD. Available on all these bouquets to choose from. To watch on all these devices. Stay connected for all the action. Get DSTV with an HD decoder. Plus dish plus 1 month confirmed for 18,500 naira. It's the Premier League. All on DSTV.
If you want to become something, become a child again. Why be impatient? If you must worry, then worry about winning. Why worry about germs? When you come home, bring tales and stories. Why bring in germs?
Shield your families from germs. When Dettol is a part of every household bucket, then you and your family can stay protected from up to 100 illness-causing germs.
Everyday use of Dettol keeps my loved ones protected.
At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news.